Hello, everyone. Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Wednesday. I hope you're having a good one wherever you're watching or listening to this around the world. As always, thank you very much for joining me on what is, of course, a match day. Champions League returns to the Emirates for the first time since that semi-final first leg defeat against PSG, as painful as that memory is. But Arsenal started the competition in good form. Of course, great 2-0 win over in Spain in that opening game, looking to make it 6 points from a possible 6 tonight against Olympiacos. I shall be there in the press box tonight. So you want any live updates, that sort of stuff, I will be doing that across my social media channels a little bit later on this evening. We're going to talk about that game, of course, in today's show. We'll go through what Mikel's been saying about various things ahead of the game. Going to go through team news, going to go through predicted 11, some of what you guys have been saying ahead of tonight's game as well. So there's plenty for us to get stuck into today. But I thought we'd start with this man. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see who I've just brought up there, William Saliba, of course, the man of the moment at Arsenal, fresh from signing his new 5-year contract, which was announced yesterday by the club. He was speaking at his pre-match press conference yesterday. Him and Mikel Arteta were up after the open training session yesterday, ahead of tonight's game. And he's been speaking about why he signed that new contract and said some really interesting stuff that I thought we'd explore. Then we'll have a look at what Mikel Arteta's had to say as well, and some of your reaction. As you can imagine, there was lots and lots of happy comments yesterday about the news that Saliba had signed this new 5-year deal. So he was asked in the presser yesterday about signing the contract, why he did that. He was asked about, Real Madrid and the links there, and the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold had gone to Real Madrid and all that sort of stuff. And so there were some interesting comments from Saliba on it. He said, look, to be honest, I was not really focused on the other clubs from the outside. I was just focused on here. I knew that I wanted to stay here for more years, so I was not really focused on the other clubs. I'm happy to be here, and I signed a new deal, so the full focus is on my club. You said Trent Alexander-Arnold, but he won some titles with Liverpool. Me, I didn't win anything here except the Community Shield. I've done nothing for this club to think about leaving. I want to stay here and win a lot of trophies. I love this club. I cannot leave this club without giving them, the fans, something back. My first choice was to stay here and win everything first. He then went on about the team, saying we've got a good team, we play well, we're good, we only miss trophies. The team and I will give everything to win this title. Of course, the people won't remember you if you win nothing. So at the end, it's about trophies, trophies, trophies. So he couldn't be more clear there. It was a big vow to the Arsenal fans. I'm here to win trophies. I'm not leaving until I win trophies. I thought it was really, really interesting. I've seen some people saying, oh, does that mean as soon as he wins something, he's going to be off? All he wants to do is win something and then he's going to be off. Frankly, I don't care. If he wins something, he can go. Are we... Well, no, that's not right. But if he wins lots, then, at the end of his contract, I'll be quite happy to wave him off into the sunset. If he want to finish his career at Real Madrid, having won a load of trophies here, by all means. No one, when William Saliba signed for Arsenal as an 18-year-old, no one was like, right, he's here for life. He's going to be a Tony Adams. He's going to play one club man. Of course, he's going to eventually want to go somewhere else. The fact that he's stayed here till now, and now he's decided to commit his best years to Arsenal as well, is absolutely fantastic. And that his desire to win trophies here and to have success here and to give something back is what sort of burning that desire to stay, I think, is fantastic. I don't see any sort of negative in it at all. So I thought they were really good comments. I thought he held up really well in the press conference yesterday. And it just shows that it is just that desire to win something at this club. Not just that he has, but everyone has. I think the fact they've all signed, hopefully Bukayo Saka, and all expectations are that Bukayo Saka is going to follow on from Saliba, Gabriel, Ethan, Miles, and everyone else and commit his future to the club. And they all believe they can win trophies here. Just the fact they haven't done it so far has not dampened that belief. In fact, it kind of drives them on more. And you see that in his comments, I think, from William Saliba. So it's just brilliant news. It's been a great 24 hours. Well, it's been a great 48 hours since this Newcastle game. Hopefully we can continue that tonight as well with the game against Olympiacos and really get into this Champions League campaign with full force, and 6 points from 6 will certainly be a help with that. So moving on to what Mikel Arteta had to say. I love that picture, by the way. I really, really like that picture. Just made me laugh when I saw it. So in Mikel's section of the press conference yesterday, obviously he was asked about William Saliba, and he said, yes, big news, huge congratulations, fully deserves this new contract. His contribution to the club, to the team, has been phenomenal the last few years. Very happy to keep the spine of the team with us. On players believing they can win trophies here and committing their futures to Arsenal, he said, yes, First of all, they feel that they belong to this club. They feel very attached to it and they share the same ambition with the club. And obviously, they feel valued, they feel loved, and they want to continue their careers here, which is great. And that is so important. I said it in yesterday's show. As someone who lived through the era of seeing brilliant players come through at Arsenal that you just wanted to keep, but you had to say goodbye to him season after season after season because A, the club couldn't afford to keep them, or B, the club couldn't match their ambitions and they ended up going elsewhere and winning stuff elsewhere. To be here now, where we are now, and see this brilliant team in front of us. And even though they haven't won trophies yet for the last couple of years, it hasn't gone the way that we all hoped it would have gone in terms of final trophies. They're still committing their futures to the club. They're still not wanting to go elsewhere. I think it's such a positive sign. It really, really is. Mikel was asked about, was there any fears about Saliba wouldn't sign the contract? He said probably more about the length of the contract. It's the will of the player. You can understand that some players have a dream. Some of them is to play in the Premier League. Some of them is to play in the Premier League for Arsenal. Another one can be to play in a different country for a different club. So you have to respect that. I think we've been really, really lucky, but it shows the power of this football club and how much people love it and want to come here. None of that is happening here. Even if they had the possibility to go somewhere else, they wanted to remain. So very, very happy, Mikel Arteta. And obviously lots of you were very happy as well. Here's just a few of what you were saying. Will says, you're right. This is a monumental moment for Arsenal to tie down. An absolutely fantastic player who's yet to reach his peak in the face of enormous competition. As you say, it's a message to other clubs and the rest of the squad that this is the best place to be and achieve special moments. The best centre-back in the world has just signed a long-term deal. This is the place to be, no question. Great words there, Will. Allison says, hi, Charles. Fantastic news about Saliba. Wonderful getting the signature done. Great and very important win against Newcastle. Glad to see your ads back and the office looking good. Important to get another Champions League win tonight and keep the momentum going. Just about to enjoy our game without my head on Mars this time. All this positivity is worth celebrating. Come on, you Gunners. And Gent next door says, in Andre Berta, Arteta may have found his David Dean. We are now behaving like the Titanic club we are. Great news. There was so much joy yesterday across all my various channels and on the Discord for Inside Arsenal members, on my social media, in terms of the comments to the posts I was putting out about Saliba. There was just widespread joy because this is just a massive moment. It is. This is a player every single club in Europe would have wanted. Every single top club in Europe would have been keeping an eye on his contract situation, just wondering whether there was going to be a chance for them to pounce. We know what Real Madrid were doing. We knew it. We saw it. We'd started to hear it in the last year or so. But he didn't, as he said in his own words, he didn't have any focus elsewhere. His only focus was on Arsenal, giving something back, winning trophies here before, at some point, maybe further down the line, he might look about trying something else. But we're not going to think about that now. We're just going to think about him here for the long term, hopefully getting his hand on the trophies that we all absolutely crave. Right, looking ahead to tonight's game then, sort of team news-wise from Mikel, we said no surprises. Hincapié and Noni Madueke are still out, so no news. The rest of them are all good. On if Odegaard is fit to start, he said he was very good. He came on at Newcastle and immediately you could see the desire and responsibility to get in the game, to try and change it with decision-making, the way he approached every ball, and he made a difference to us, help win the game. So is he fit to start? Didn't really answer it, but... I'll get to my predicted 11 in a bit. My only issue with Odegaard starting, I think, is just that the fact that he only came on about 10 minutes to go against Newcastle suggests to me that they weren't really sure he could play any more than that. Because we were losing, we were chasing the game, and he still didn't come on with like half an hour to go. So it wouldn't surprise me if they wait a little bit longer before he starts, maybe against West Ham at the weekend. Bit of a blow that Hincapié is still out. It'd be nice to see him back very, very soon. Obviously, because he's a new signing, you want him to settle in and we all want to see him, see how good he can be because we know he looks like a really good player. It'd just be very, very handy as well for that sort of left-sided centre-back option to be in the squad at the moment, because it's the one sort of area we're missing, and we're going to have to, maybe if we are going to give Gabriel rest tonight, then it might be a player playing slightly out of position. So it'd be good to get him back fairly soon. Other than that, obviously, we knew Noni's out. We know that there's no Kai Havertz yet. We know there's no Gabriel Jesus, all that sort of stuff. But, fingers crossed, it won't be too much longer until we have to wait for them. So that's what he said on the latest team news. On Victor Gyokeres, I thought these were interesting comments on Gyokeres, because I thought Gyokeres had a really good game against Newcastle. I thought it was his best game in an Arsenal shirt. He didn't score, but I thought his all-round game, his all-round performance. I really, really enjoyed it. I've had a little bit of a um, what's the word I'm looking for? I've had some people sort of questioning whether he played as well as I thought he did, but I thought he had a really good game. Anyway, Mikel clearly thinks he did as well because he was asked about it by James McNicholas, obviously Gunner blog, in the press conference yesterday about his performance at Newcastle. He said, "I absolutely loved it. I loved how he took it. He went on board. Not a single moment when he was showing the frustration. I told him that you're going to get some decisions, some others." You're going to have to stand up. You're going to have 2 or 3 players around you in many moments. The ball is in the air and a lot is going to happen. But I loved his reaction. I loved the way he handled the situation emotionally, and also because he was involved in a lot of dangerous moments that he created. He was very much involved in them. It's a pity he didn't score at the end because, in my opinion, he fully deserved it on how he's handling the role with Kai Havertz out injured and the fact there's no other sort of, there's no respite for him at the moment because he's having to play all the time. He said it's a really natural, organic way. I would say he's a really confident boy. His work ethic is incredible. The demands that he puts on us, puts on himself, every single day. It's a joy to work with him. He gives so much to the team, and the ceiling is very, very far, but he can still give to the team. I'm very happy with him. So there he's saying that, the ceiling is still way off where Gyokeres can go. What we're seeing at the moment, there's still a lot more for him to give. And I think this next period of games is going to be interesting for Gyokeres because I said it at the start when he signed, it was like, well, in my view, sort of the games he was really brought in to win for Arsenal are the games that we've got coming up now. I've said it before. I felt in the big games at the start of the season, had Kai Havertz been fit, I wouldn't have been at all surprised if Kai Havertz had been starting those games. But these are the sort of games that Arsenal have got coming up now, like your West Hams, you've got Fulham away, you've got Palace. I know Palace are doing really well at the moment. You've got Sunderland coming up, all those sort of games. These are the ones that Arsenal has struggled over recent years to win at times and have sort of fallen behind and left points on the table because of those games, because they haven't been able to kill them off. In Gyokeres, Arsenal hopefully have got that killer now who can send these games Arsenal's way, break teams open who aren't looking to come out and attack. So I think it's a really important period for Gyokeres now. And the signs I'm seeing from him are really, really positive. And certainly the signs I saw from him against Newcastle are really, really positive. It's a player who just looks like he's beginning to understand a little bit the role that he's got here at Arsenal now and how he's going to have to play in this team. It's very different to what he's been used to. He can't just go and bully everyone like he used to do in sport. In the standards, so much better here that he's going to be facing week in, week out. And he's been given a really sort of just thrown in at the deep end since he signed for Arsenal, especially with the Havertz injury and the start that Arsenal have had. But I'm seeing good signs for him. Looking forward to seeing him play tonight. I think he'll start. And as I said, this period of games that Arsenal got coming up now, really expecting and hoping to see good things from Victor Gyokeres in this period. So this is my predicted 11 for tonight's game. I'm in an R about this. This is so this is what I'm thinking Mikel might do. I think he's going to change the fullbacks. I said that last time in the Champions League and I was wrong. He didn't. He played Calafiori from the start in that game. The fact that Ben White is now, seems like he's back in full fitness, I think White will start. And I think Lewis Skelly will start. I think you've got to give Calafiori a rest. I know he did give him a rest at Port Vale. But I think he probably needs another one. I think Calafiori will definitely start against West Ham. It's a shorter turnaround this week. It's not Tuesday to Sunday like it was after the last Champions League game. It's Wednesday to Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff. So I think there will be some changes. I think fullback definitely. So I think he'll go Raya in goal. I think he'll go White, Saliba. I've got Mosquera at left centre-back. I think he might rest Gabriel and then Lewis Skelly. I'm in iron about that, the centre-backs thing. It might be Gabriel, I don't know, but I just felt like Gabriel probably needs a little bit of a breather as well, and he'll certainly be playing against West Ham, we know, in midweek. And I think it'd be quite good for Mosquera as well to start this game after what happened at Newcastle. So I think he's going to go White, Saliba, Mosquera, Lewis Skelly. I've then gone Zubimendi. I've gone Ethan Nwaneri. I don't think Odegaard will be fit to start yet. I think Odegaard will start the weekend. I think that's probably the game that's been earmarked for him to have his first start. So I think Ethan, although he was left out of the squad altogether at Newcastle, I think he'll certainly come back into the squad for this game, no doubt about it. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if he starts in that Odegaard role. So I've gone Zubimendi, Nwaneri and Rice. And then I've gone Saka, Gyokeres and Eza. Initially, I did have Martinelli and then I changed my mind. I was thinking more about what Mikel might do for this. And I think he'll probably stick with Eza, but play more on the left-hand side rather than in the central position that he did against Newcastle. So that's my predicted 11 for tonight. Raya, White, Saliba, Mosquera, Lewis Skelly, Zubimendi, Nwaneri, Rice, Saka, Gyokeres, and Eza. I think if I was doing my team for this, I would do that with the fullbacks. I would go White and Lewis Skelly. I think I'd probably play Gabriel alongside Saliba. Um, I would be tempted to rest Supermendi for this game and play um, either Norgard, but maybe Rice in it. I would kind of like to see a Rice just because Arsenal at home, and maybe this is me being too attacking, but I'd kind of like to see Rice playing that number 6 role, give Zubimendi a bit of a break because he's had a hell of a start to life at Arsenal and could do with a rest. So I'd probably go Rice as a 6, and then um, I would probably go Marino and Eze in the centre, and then Saka, Gyokeres, and Martinelli on the left-hand side. So that's the team I would probably go for, but not the one that I'm expecting Mikel to. In terms of what some of you guys would do, JFO says, would love to see changes versus Olympiacos. Raya, White, Mosquera, Gabriel, MLS, Rice, Eza, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Gyokeres. Teta98 says, my 11 against Olympiacos would be Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, MLS, Odegaard, Zubimendi, Marino, Dauman or Nwaneri, Trossard, Martinelli, keep Timber, Mosquera, Calafiori, Rice, Dauman, Nwaneri, Saka, Eza, and Gyokeres. That guy Norm says simply, we cannot take Olympiacos for granted, especially at home. I don't think anyone will be doing that. Certainly not. Some fans might, but I certainly don't think anyone at Arsenal will be doing that when you consider Olympiacos' recent record at the Emirates. A couple more here before I wrap this one up. Jonathan has got in touch and says, great show as always. Thank you. I have a question for you. Do you think the re-signing of Saliba, that the press and the public don't always appreciate the work of someone like Berta and the roles they do? By this, I mean, look at Graham Potter as an example. At Brighton, he was successful with a club that has someone behind the scenes scouting and buying players. When the press call for Amorim to go, for example, is he not a good manager? Has he been let down by the focus on buying attackers while the midfield and defence are suspect? Same with Thomas Frank. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on away from a club that has a proven track record of good signings, move into a club with a middling record. I think, look, as a collective, a club is better when everyone is on the same page and doing things in the right way. Is that happening at Manchester United? No, I think they're a mess and they have been for a while. I don't think that absolves Amorim of any blame for what's going on. I mean, his record is frankly atrocious. And I don't think you can just look at that and absolve him of the blame in that specific situation. Now he has been back this summer. They have got players in. Should they have got another central midfielder? Yes, they absolutely should have done. Did they really need to go out and sign, Sesko, Mbeumo and Cunha? I mean, when you look at their record last season, maybe they did as well. But you're right. And I think what has helped Arteta is that he has had this sort of stable club. First with Edu, then it went, but he's got Berta in now. He's an experienced head as well. And I think when everyone's on the same page, clubs work better. When everyone wasn't on the same page at Arsenal, it was a mess and it broke down and we looked years away from competing. Then Arteta came in. He had a really good relationship with Edu. And the club just felt a lot more stable again after that initial sort of period, and we saw the benefit of that, and so it does help absolutely. And Mark says this is the kind of stuff Arteta doesn't get enough praise for. Every one of our stars in the last 8 years has signed on or not went elsewhere. It used to be a ritual to let our best players go for free or next to nothing. I think it speaks volumes that the best players in their positions are now happy to stay at Arsenal. They obviously see something, and they did. I mean, William Saliba said it himself yesterday. He said he's got the perfect coach for him. I know he gets criticism, Arteta, and I know he deserves criticism at times. But, when you sort of strip it all back and you look at what he's done an amazing job, brilliant job. He's got Arsenal to a place where top players want to sign for, and he's got Arsenal in a place where their best players don't want to leave and they want to stay because they believe that they can achieve everything they want to achieve at Arsenal. And where you look at where we were 5 years ago to where we are now, it's just chalk and cheese. It's brilliant. And yes, we want trophies. Yes, that's what it's about. I still have full belief that we're going to get there with this team, with this squad, with this coaching staff, with this manager. And hopefully it's this season. Hopefully it is this season. And on that note, that's it for me this morning. Like I said, I'm going to be heading off to the Emirates later on this evening. I shall be there. So if you can't watch it, if you're not able to watch it and you just want to get live updates on your phone, then you can go on my usual social media channels, and I will be doing live up in the press box a little bit later on today. Until then, have a good one, everyone. I'll speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.